HiRevz Media is sponsored by Born to Ride Motorcycle Magazine. Check out borntoride.com.
All right, guys, give you another little update. So, in the meantime of building all this, because this is taking a while, we did get the dump truck. You got to check out the video on it. And then we hauled some gravel. So, we got a couple more dumps out over here, film that, and then we actually got a little bit more. You see some of the newer gravel here, and then along that edge, this is all fresh gravel. Because Daddy actually built the doors down, so they're standard like 8-foot doors instead of these weird 9-foot. And then all this is getting painted, new doors are getting put on. So stop the water and dirt and stuff from splashing up. Got all new gravel down, which is good. The old dump truck there. I'll show you. Got some power ran in here now. Got a line, got power box in here. And got a few lines ran. Some of the older stuff is still good, so a lot of that got hooked back up. Some of the things that switched out. A lot of these original old bulbs actually still worked, which is kind of nice. But there's some power in here. There it is. Look at that. Nice. This building has not had power in years, which is awesome. I think this other one is an outside light. Yeah, it is. You can actually see it coming on over there. You probably can't. But yeah, there it is. A couple outside lights on here. So, and we got plug-ins, which is nice. So it's nice having power in here. Pretty cool to be able to see what you're doing, what you're working on. And this is the back area. You know, I saw a little bit of this with us getting out all these old machines. Saved a couple ones there. But of the old machines that were here, ended up cutting out a bunch of this because it was just old and rotten and nasty. So, but it's a pretty open area. Still got some old tires and crap to get rid of, but we're gonna see if we can park that dump truck in here. But I think what we're gonna have to do is dig down the door a ways so we can actually pull in here. So see if we can make that work. So, I mean, it's kind of cool. These old slot machines that have been most likely axed by a revenuer at some point in time, which is kind of cool. There's a lot of old, neat stuff, old stuff in here. Tabletop jukebox there. Other jukebox controls. There was some pretty neat stuff, but most of it just had gotten rotten. But now it's got new roof in here and should be much better. Oh, we got lights in here too. Hey, how long do you think it's been since there were lights in here? Long time. I don't think there was ever lights in here when I was a kid. We only got one bulb. Is it the original bulb?
Yeah.
That's why that one will probably last forever. Yeah, get some other bulbs in here.
I've got new ones for it.
Yeah. All right, guys, so we got some dirt coming out of the back part back here. It's all the stuff we've been working on trying to clean this out, and we're actually making it low enough so we can actually fit the dump truck in that hole. So we got to get some of the dirt out of here to be able to fit that top edge line, which is the tallest on this thing in there. So trying to get that done, and it should work pretty good. See the dirt coming in the back? I see it. Yeah. All right, guys, we got her loaded up with the heaviest load this thing's probably ever hauled. It's pretty dang heavy. So we'll see how it does. All right, guys, we got the dump truck moved, and it has rained a little bit the last couple days. But I wanted to give you a follow back up. We got finished with it. Got the truck in here, but you can see land is nice and smoothed out. We don't have any standing puddles or anything, so that's good. Michael did a good job getting all this smoothed down through there. So you can see how much higher the door is now. So we got to figure out something to either some drop down swing doors to fill that in, or something to do here to kind of finish out the bottom of the doors. Maybe even build them on down, but not open them all the way or something. I'm not sure, because we didn't realize there were actually concrete footings actually in here, big ones. We didn't expect that to actually be here. We just figured it'd not be in there. But anyway, you see all this is still nice and dry, which is good. All the rain is kind of fell off and then went that way. Dirt is a little slick as I walk down through there, but show you the dump truck in here. Look at that. There she is, which is pretty nice. And got one little light up there. We're gonna add some more, but it actually worked out pretty good. You can see we cut down about 1.5 feet, pretty close to it in the front, just to make that tallest part fit under the door frame as it came down. And it actually kind of slopes back up to the normal grade in the back, which all of this is fine. The slanted roof and that corner there gave us a couple inches, unloaded here, which is good. So, but all the rest of this crap that was in here is just rotten wood, powdered crap. It's awful for my sinuses and everything there. So it's kind of nice that a lot of that stuff's scraped out of here anyways, because it was just terrible. This side's obviously not as big because we got this part of the shelf we could salvage. So, but you still get in the trunk and everything. There's still plenty of room here. But, we get our other lights put in here. I can finally get the truck cleaned up. But, tell you the story here. Every time you go out in this truck, it's an adventure. The first time, obviously, it started flooding everywhere. That went all over the place, got really nasty. And then ended up switching out, putting the new air cleaner on here. And that worked out well. So, and I think what the problem was not so much this carburetor, but that original air cleaner, that old oil bath, was so old and nasty that it was just, especially hauling a load, I'm having to floor it, and flooring this thing, it's just pulling so much CFM through it that it couldn't pull. It was having to pull from somewhere, and it was pouring fuel everywhere, and it's causing it to flood. So now that I've got the new air cleaner on there, it runs perfect. Haven't had any issues with that, not with it trying to, flood or anything on those issues. It did fine. This time, well, first time we went gravel, that happened. The second time we got gravel, we got another ton. Dumped it. Everything was fine. No issues there. It was actually did really good. Drove over there. Everything worked slick. That was nice. This time, loaded up with all that dirt. I knew it was going to be a fairly heavy load, but I didn't think for a dump truck it'd be that bad. So we got going down the road, and we only had to go, I don't know, half a mile down the actual highway to my cousin's house. He was the one helping me drop it off at Michael's house, and it was perfect. He's got the little Bobcat there, and I get the dump truck, so I was like, hey, we need some dirt. We'll make this happen. And we get going out there. I can tell it's got a pretty good load on it. I'm shifting into granny gear and shifting the gears, but I get up to third gear, it's doing fine. Well, I pull it on back into second, get it slowing down, getting on the brakes, and I can tell, okay, this thing's, I'm having to put my foot in it for the brakes. It's probably a lot more braking than I've ever done, or maybe this truck's done in a long, long time. Because the guy I got it from mainly just hauled brush in the back and crap like that. But I get it slowed down, get it pulled up in his driveway, kind of off to the side. It goes uphill pretty sharply, and it started chugging down. I thought, I better get into granny gear. Well, I shifted on into granny gear and it goes boom, 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 and just like dies. And then it cuts out. It actually stays running, but it cut out completely. And then I started rolling backwards. So I got on the brake hard, and I'm getting on the brakes harder and harder, and the pedal's going down, and it's still slowly rolling back. And I'm thinking at this point it's just because it's such a heavy load. Well, it's really not the load at all. The brakes are goofing up, which is bad because it's a single pot master cylinder. And I'm telling Michael, we're rolling. So he jumps out. I'm like, get you out of the truck and stop traffic because we're rolling back into 5 o'clock traffic on a Friday afternoon. So it was pretty scary. And I told him, I said, man, I'm scared. I said, we're rolling. I said, I'm not sure what to do here. I was like, we're going to have to get this thing stopped and then kind of figure out how to take off. Well, he goes and gets in his truck, stops traffic enough for me to back out on the road. And I was like, okay, I think I can actually take off in granny gear again, maybe get it up through there. Well, it struggled its whole way back up the hill. It was mostly concrete, and at the very top, the concrete ends, and it got over the edge of that concrete and then started picking back up. But it was, and I thought it was about to die, and it would, and started pick back up. It's like, oh my gosh, thank you, Lord, so much. You know, we got this thing out of the way. We thought we were going to have to dump the load right there in his driveway just to take it because I kept thinking it was the heavy load. And it wasn't that bad of a load, but it was like, golly, what's going on? And anyways, get pulled in there, backed up, dump the load, truck won't move. We've dumped all the load off, and the truck is just trying its best to pull, will not pull out of the way. And I go back and forth with it a little bit, realize it's the brakes. So the wheel cylinders in the brake drums have pushed out so far, farther than they ever have probably before, or maybe just in a really long time, and they've gotten stuck. So they're applying the brakes like the whole time, and I'm like, crap, you know? So we checked brake fluid and a couple other things just to make sure that wasn't a problem because the brake pedal feels a little squishy now, and I think it's because I was hammering on them so hard. I might have screwed up this master cylinder just trying to get it to stop initially, and then once we got it back, we realized we did have a blown out wheel cylinder at the bottom on the driver's side in the back. So that one's blown out. There's some fluid everywhere, and I think it blew out, and I'm pumping and pumping. I'm just squirting out fluid, but it's stuck in a position, so it's just applying the brakes. Well, then I'm like, we got to get this thing back to my house. So I put it in granny gear. Luckily, this thing's got enough torque and enough transmission and enough rear end, which is like 6.5 to 1 or something like that, to pull us out of there. And I can only go about 20 miles an hour in first gear, and it's kind of hammered down. And I'm coming back up the road, trying to turn back into this road. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And again, this is right at 5 o'clock traffic. And it's just whoa, just trying its best. Well, it dies. And I'm like, oh crap. Well, I get it fired back up. It's running again. I'm thinking I'm just pushing this motor way too hard. Probably literally harder than it's ever been pulled in tens of years, right? Probably 20, 30, 40 years. And it dies again. Well, then I can't get it to start. It won't start at all. I think I've just cooked the motor. It's just too hot. And I can see steam, not steam, but just like oil smoke essentially coming up out of the breathers. Like I've pushed this thing hard and the brakes are locked down. Everything's getting hotter. The more it rolls, the tighter they get, the hotter they get, the more they expand. It's just a series of messes. Well, it's sitting there on the side of the road. And a Windstream kinetic truck, if you have Windstream internet around here, you know what I'm talking about. Terrible service, really good guy. He was able to pull over and ask me if he could pull me. I said, man, I don't think your van is going to pull this 10,500 pound truck. He goes, well, let's try it. Well, he's about to back up. Well, another buddy of ours rolls by, and I really appreciate Christopher Daniel for stopping and helping us. So he had a 2500 Chevy, pulled up there, backed up, and he was able to pull this thing like nothing. I mean, it just literally pulled it right on down the road. And the brakes had seemed to cool down and free up a bit, but he pulled us up the road up here, and I was able to back it down into our driveway up here. So, and then just back it up to here, and then I pulled it down here. By the time I got it backed in, this thing was already lugging it down, stopping again. So I think when they cool down, it's freeing up just enough to roll some. And then as soon as, you know, you roll much or apply the brakes, because the brakes still seem to be working, which is the crazy thing. And I guess it's the other wheel cylinder slowing down. It's that one that's just locked down hard. So at this point, We've got it in here and I haven't moved it. At some point we'll have to pull it out and then tear that brake apart and see if that's the only issue. Put a brand new wheel cylinder in so we can fix that. Maybe both. I think there's two in these because they're so big. Fix those and then see how the master cylinder works. I do want to change this master cylinder anyways. I've not wanted to do that since I got it because it is a single pot. I'd like to have a dual pot, which is what they went to in 67, but in 66 they did not have that. So I would like to get that switched out, which I think would be good. So anyways, that's the super long story to tell you what has happened the last time that we drove this thing. However, it did work out good. We did get one big load of dirt hauled out of here, and then the rest of the dirt we just dumped over in the woods over there. So it helped Michael out a little bit, but not as much as we had hoped. We'd hoped to get him a couple loads, but anyways, there's the story. The truck is still doing good, and we've got it inside here, but I kind of wanted to give a follow-up. So to make this video extra long, thank you for watching. If you listen to the whole story, hopefully you enjoyed it. It was very scary at the time. Now it's kind of funny, but at least we made it. So appreciate it, guys.